The message came out of nowhere, no warning, no explanation, just a single line on Nathan West's phone, and suddenly everything changed. He froze, his eyes locked on the screen, his expression shifting from confusion to something much darker, fear, because whatever he just read, it wasn't normal, and it wasn't safe, and within seconds, Nathan made a decision that could destroy everything he's been trying to protect. At Bobby's, the tension was already thick enough to cut. Nathan stood across from Felicia Scorpio, arms crossed, jaw tight. She wasn't smiling, she wasn't backing down either. "You need to walk away from Lulu," Felicia said, her voice firm but not unkind, "before you make things worse." Nathan let out a short breath, not amused. "Since when is my life your business?" Felicia didn't flinch. "Since I can see exactly where this is going, you're dragging Lulu into something messy, and Maxie deserves better than this chaos." Maxie. That name hit harder than Nathan expected. For a split second, something flickered in his eyes. Guilt. But it vanished just as fast. "You don't get to decide what I do," Nathan snapped. "So back off." Felicia stepped closer. "You think you're in control? You're not, and whatever this is, it's going to blow up in your face." Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Nathan didn't respond, because deep down he knew she might be right. But before the argument could go any further, his phone buzzed. That sound, sharp, sudden, and somehow threatening. Nathan glanced down, and that's when everything shifted. His expression tightened, his shoulders stiffened. Felicia noticed instantly. "What is it?" Nathan didn't answer. He just stared at the screen, reading, processing. Then without another word, he turned and walked out, fast, too fast, leaving Felicia behind with more questions than answers. Outside, Nathan's mind was racing. That message, it wasn't just random. It was a summons, a command, and there was only one person who could send something like that, Jen Sidwell. And if Sidwell was calling him in, then something had gone very, very wrong. Meanwhile, across town, another dangerous game was unfolding. Jordan Ashford stood face to face with Sidwell, and the air between them, ice cold. "You're pushing too far," Jordan warned. Sidwell smiled, not a friendly smile, the kind that makes your stomach drop. "I don't think you understand your position," he said calmly. "You don't get to push back." Jordan held her ground. "I'm not your pawn." Sidwell's eyes darkened. "No, but you are very easy to break." That landed hard. But Jordan didn't show fear. "Not yet. What do you want?" Sidwell leaned in slightly. "I want obedience." A pause, and if I don't get it, his voice dropped. "Everything you care about disappears." Silence filled the room, because this wasn't a threat, it was a promise. Back at General Hospital, things weren't any easier. Curtis Ashford was trying, really trying. He stood in front of Portia, holding on to what he clearly thought was a beautiful idea. "I thought we could start getting ready," he said, hopeful. "You know, take the next step." Portia's face softened for a moment, then something shifted. Doubt, fear. She shook her head. "Curtis, I can't." That wasn't the reaction he expected. "What do you mean?" "I mean, not right now." Curtis frowned. "But this is a good thing, it's about our future." Portia stepped back slightly, and that distance said everything. "I'm not ready." Those words hit harder than any argument, because this wasn't just hesitation, this was something deeper, something unresolved. And just when the moment couldn't get more uncomfortable, Isaiah Gannon walked in. He took one look at Portia, then at Curtis, and immediately understood. "This isn't a good time," Isaiah said quietly. Curtis clenched his jaw. "I'm trying to fix things." Isaiah shook his head. "Not like this." A beat, then more firmly. "You should go." That was it. Curtis stood there, caught between frustration and heartbreak, because for the first time it felt like he was losing her. Meanwhile, in the ICU, another truth was about to surface. Or be buried. Lucas Jones leaned in closer to his patient. Ross Cullum, the man who had been shot, the man who might know exactly who pulled the trigger. "Do you remember anything?" Lucas asked carefully. Cullum blinked slowly, his expression unreadable. "I don't know," he murmured. Lucas frowned. "You don't know, or you're not saying." A pause, long enough to feel intentional. Cullum exhaled. "It's hazy," but something about the way he said it didn't feel honest. Because the truth, Cullum might remember more than he's letting on. And if he does, then the next name he says could destroy an innocent man, or protect the real shooter. And somewhere in Port Charles, Jason Morgan has no idea that his name might be the one about to be dragged into this mess. And just as secrets start to collide, one wrong accusation could change everything. The truth was sitting right there, in that hospital room. But Ross Cullum wasn't ready to give it up, not yet. And that hesitation, it could cost someone everything. Lucas watched him closely, too closely, because something wasn't adding up. "You were shot," Lucas said slowly. "That's not something you just forget." Cullum looked away, avoiding eye contact. "I said it's blurry," but Lucas wasn't convinced, not even close, because sometimes blurry is just another word for dangerous truth, and if Cullum decides to speak, the consequences could explode across Port Charles. Meanwhile, Nathan had arrived, the location from the message: quiet, too quiet, the kind of place where deals are made and lives get ruined. He stepped inside, every instinct on edge, and then a voice: "You're late." Nathan turned, and there he was, Jens Sidwell, calm, controlled, completely dangerous. "I came as soon as I got the message," Nathan said. Sidwell tilted his head. "Good, that means you're still listening." Nathan's jaw tightened. "I'm not your employee," Sidwell smirked. "No, you're something much more useful." That didn't sit well, but Nathan stayed quiet, because pushing back, right now, that would be a mistake. Sidwell stepped closer. "I need information." Nathan didn't respond. So Sidwell continued. "Marco Rios, his case, his connections, everything." Nathan's stomach dropped, because this wasn't just a simple request. This was a setup, and if he gets involved, there's no way out. "And if I say no?" Nathan asked. Sidwell's expression didn't change, but his tone did. "You don't." A beat. "Or I start talking." Nathan froze, because he knew exactly what that meant. Exposure, destruction, everything he's been hiding, gone. So now the question isn't whether Nathan will help, it's how far he's willing to go. Across town, another emotional storm was brewing. Brooklyn Quartermain was not happy, not even a little. "You think this is a good idea?" she snapped. Michael Corinthos didn't hesitate. "I think it's the only idea." That didn't calm her down. Not even close. "This involves Willow," Brooklyn said sharply. "And every time Willow gets involved, something goes wrong." Michael exhaled. "This isn't about old drama, this is about Phoebe." That name softened the tension, but only slightly, because for Brooklyn, the risk still felt too big. And then came Chase, determined, focused, and completely locked in on one thing: getting help. He found Willow, now Congresswoman Kane, a woman with power, with influence, and maybe with the ability to change everything. "I need a favor," Chase said. Willow didn't hesitate. "If I can help, I will." Chase nodded. "It's about Phoebe." That was enough. Willow's expression shifted instantly, serious, committed, because she owed him. After everything he did during her trial, this was her chance to return the favor. "If there's a way to make this happen," Willow said, "I'll find it." And just like that, a new alliance formed, one that could change Philly's future forever. But not everyone was convinced this was a good thing. Because back with Brooklyn, the worry wasn't going away. "She's pulling you back in," Brooklyn warned Chase. And last time that happened, it didn't end well. Chase shook his head. "This is different." But was it? Or is this just another cycle waiting to repeat itself? Because in Port Charles, nothing stays simple, and every good intention usually comes with a cost. Meanwhile, back at the center of it all, the biggest question still remains. What will Ross Cullum say? Because if he names Jason Morgan, everything changes. If he stays silent, the real shooter stays free. And if he's playing his own game, then no one is safe. And somewhere in the shadows, pieces are moving, secrets are building, and the truth, it's getting closer. But here's the real question. Do you think Nathan is being forced to work for Sidwell, or is he hiding something even bigger? And if Cullum speaks, will he tell the truth, or destroy Jason to protect someone else? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want daily high-drama updates like this, don't forget to subscribe. Because in Port Charles, the biggest secrets, they're always just one episode away from exploding.